the African bird pepper powder, which is here. I used a whole pack during my whole pregnancy.
Hold on, I think the booby monster's waking up.
Yeah, he's waking up. Let me go and get him.
Good. Yeah, so anyway, the booby monster is our code name for our son. And he's super calm, baby. He has his mother's personality for the most part. He's super chill. So he doesn't fuss much. He's strictly on breast milk. And that's part of the reason why he is so calm, because he's getting that good mama's milk, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yes, he's literally dreaming about it right now. So he's still dreaming. So we still got some time.
Right.
So I think
so
we're
not even
about
gonna edit that part, because that was real life. That's how we
real
live,
life.
right? So
that's just literally what it is.
you was about to say, you was talking about how you was using up the bird pepper powder.
I literally was. So the African bird pepper powder, I've been using this in a lot of my dishes. I personally like heat, and I find that the flavor within this African bird pepper powder is really nice. I've been using it in most of my dishes when I'm frying up my onions and using the oil. Instead of using like black pepper or always scotch pepper, I find like this has more benefits health wise, and it tastes, the flavor is really good.
Excellent to help you with your digestion. It's excellent for people who have cardiovascular issues. Pardon me. It will help to open up your veins and your arteries so that your blood flow is better. And it's just amazing, and it's flavorful.
It's really flavorful.
Yeah,
we had this on many dishes, even when we was doing a vegan barbecue. Remember, when you like sprinkled it out, salad as well. We put it on.
Yeah,
so
fruit.
I definitely recommend this.
Yeah, for
fruit
sure.
as well. Yeah, the watermelon.
So, all right, moving forward, let's talk about your herbal routine. Which one are the PMP herbs them were you using during the 9-month period of pregnancy and also currently?
Okay, so
I know you didn't use a lot of herbs.
I had my favorite.
Right.
So during the actual pregnancy, I would say during my labor stage, going through contractions, and so I started to use vervain. Vervain helped me a lot by boiling it up and having it as a tea. It helped me as a pain relief. A healthy pain relief when I needed to relax my when I needed to relax my nerves. That became so helpful. I was like, babe, run downstairs and make that tea, make my vervain tea.
But she was cool though. She wasn't like one of those like what's the term I'm looking for? She wasn't in a ridiculous amount of pain causing her to lash out. Right? That's a diplomatic way of saying that, because obviously when a woman is going through that period of bringing a child, she's liable to do or say anything, and it's okay. You know what I mean? But my wife was so beautiful towards me. Like, she didn't cuss me. Not once.
Not once.
Not once.
I didn't.
Right? And part of that was the fact that you were sipping on your vervain, so you know, it helped with your pain during the labor process. It did. And supplied you with some good iron.
Yes.
So your energy was high.
Oh, my energy was very high. And I had a lot of iron during my contractions. This is literally when I was going through labor. I was about, I don't know, about 4 centimeters dilated, and I needed to speed up. So my energy at this point, even my midwife was in complete shock. I was outside in the garden, power walking up and down, having conversations about organizing events that we wanted to do at the end of the year. I came in and I started mopping. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yo. No, you can't brush over that. So she was like a day into labor, and I'm looking at her, I'm like, babe, is that all right? And she's like, yeah. I was like, yo, you know what? Why don't you go for a walk? Because I knew she was strong enough to do it. So she went in the yard, and my girl started jogging back and forth.
I started to jog. I didn't need to just
and then
up and down the garden.
She comes back inside, picks up the vacuum cleaner, and starts to vacuum the house.
Yeah.
Never seen nothing like that in my life.
I did. It was bothering me, and I was like, okay, this is a good time. As I'm going through my little contractions now, it's stopped, and every 8 minutes, it's happening. 8 minutes, let me just hoover up downstairs. That's the energy that I had. And you know, my family members that are around were just like, oh my, is she serious? Like, and I just felt, you know, between my contractions, I was having conversations. I felt my energy was very high.
Right.
I felt
so you were very well hydrated.
I was very well hydrated.
A huge part of that was that you were drinking what?
Watermelon.
Yeah.
Watermelon was my thing. All throughout my contractions, I had watermelon. I sprinkled a little bit of the bird pepper, which I showed you earlier. I sprinkled a lot of that onto my watermelon. I was making watermelon juice. And even when I was going through the labor, I had like my watermelon juice a few like hours before that too.
Correct.
So
and throughout the whole labor process, that's how you were hydrating.
That's how I was hydrated, because
Right.
you wasn't advised obviously to have any solid foods. So I was drinking. I even had my straws ready for my watermelon juice. I had some in the freezer frozen,
Right.
and I had my supplies,
Right.
and that helped a lot.
A lot. So just to finish up the herbs, the other thing that you used a lot was nettle.
I use nettle a lot.
So
yeah.
nettle came into play
Later.
postpartum,
That
right?
was
Because
postpartum.
you didn't. Let's go back a little before we go forward. During your pregnancy, during your blood tests and everything like that, how were your iron levels?
My iron levels was perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
You weren't deficient. She didn't.
No.
What's common is that a lot of people are anemic, period. But especially during pregnancy, a lot of the sisters tend to lose iron in their body because your blood volume has to expand in order to produce more blood for you and your child.
Yeah, your
right?
child's taking a lot from
So-
you as well.
Right. So luckily you didn't have any of those issues with anemia.
I didn't.
You know, give thanks for that. But after birth now, you know, you lose a lot of blood and you need to rebuild your blood properly. So that bloodletting is a positive thing. Is really good, but you have to replenish and know how. So what I did was we harvested some of this nettle straight from
Nettle
the PMP
powder.
farm
Yep.
in the Gambia. We
This
made it
is
into
the-
powder form. This is the PMP nettle from Jamaica, but the one that
I
Babes
was
is using
was the
is from direct from the farm in the Gambia. So talk a little bit about the nettle. I know the nettle obviously it helps with lactation, which you don't need help with, but it's really good to make sure that it's there because he's growing. And you also wanted to replenish your iron stores
yes.
after birth, right?
I did. I wanted to replenish my iron a lot, and as you said, it was more of an addition as he was growing. I felt, okay, if we have the herbs there, why not use it? And I wanted to see the difference, and I did see a difference in my supply. And that was all I needed was to see that.
So we covered most of the topics that most people were asking about in regards to nutrition, utilizing the purple sea moss, you know, during the pregnancy process and afterwards, and what herbs, if any, did you use personally. So I guess it's time to talk a little bit about what our plan was as far as a birth, right?
Yes, that's
So-
very important.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah, so to share with you, our original plan was to have a home birth. I was going to have a water birth at home with just, you know, my one or two family members and
And a midwife.
in the midwife. That was the original plan. We got everything ready and prepared, and I got all the way to around about, how far was I? About in the 30s, my third trimester, and we had found out. First of all, our little Baba was perfectly growing and healthy all the way through up to our third semester until today. But when we had I think it was a week or two before he was born, where we had a
Doppler, we had to do,
A
you know,
Doppler,
right?
yeah.
We had to have a Doppler, to, you know, to look at the baby and to make sure that he was growing well
yeah.
and everything was growing proportionately to his gestational age. So what happened was we went for our midwife visit, and like what was introduced, which we didn't plan for, was that he was below his gestational weight according to the week that he was, because he was about 35 weeks or so.
He was about 35, yeah.
About week 35 when we got this information.
35,
so
36, yeah.
what happens when that happens is that the midwife and everyone involved has to switch their entire tone, right? Because obviously now, if we were to proceed with a home birth, their license is at risk.
Yeah.
So the narrative now changed, and now we had to go to the hospital in order to, get these Dopplers done and get into the system in that way, which neither one of us wanted.
Oh,
but
we
decided to do it, and we did it in good faith because we wanted to do the best thing for our son.
Yeah.
And as we moved forward, we went through the process, and
we did.
Bottom line is, he decided to come when he was ready to come.
Oh, he decided to come.
So he was 2 weeks early.
Yes.
Right, because he came in his 38th week.
Yes, he did.
And what was dope about it is that it was spontaneous labor, and it started to happen at home.
Naturally.
And we had all our planning done. So
yes, we did.
You had your hospital bag. We had food. Everything was stocked up and ready. We had a plan in place to get transferred. Pardon me, to a hospital of our choice, which our midwife knew a lot of the staff. So what was cool, to fast forward, is that wifey labored at home.
Yes, I went through a lot of the labor at home. It was about two days of labor I went through at home. Yeah. And that was very empowering to me as a woman that's never been through labor before and or experienced it in real life, from any, like, watched it from anybody, like, seen anybody else go through it. And I literally was very shocked with how I was dealing with just the labor and the pain. And that's when I noticed that from having my CMOS in my system, having the Vervain also to just help with the pain, it was very, 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 very beneficial to me during the process. I can't explain how much, like, to other women. It's what you eat. It's what you eat plays a
I thought she was
very...
a psychopath.
I know you did.
I was looking at her and I was like, why aren't you experiencing more pain? This is painful, right?
I remember when your dad came in and he literally was just like, what's she doing? Sitting down with you guys around the table, just like laughing and joking. And this was literally like like going into my day 3 of labor.
Yeah, she labored for a total of 48
hours. Yeah.
She was laboring for a minute, but the labor process at home was beautiful, and we had an excellent experience at home. And then it was time to transfer to the hospital.